Each teacher can recount numerous highs and lows in their teaching career. Personally, I have experienced many great moments while teaching. Many days end where I feel enthusiastic and I know I selected the right profession. On the other hand, some days make me question why I selected teaching as a career. There are times where the students lack investment, parents have little accountability for their child, and a slew of behavioral issues occur. Thankfully, the positive days outweigh the negative days and keep me coming back every day. Through my 15 years of teaching and working in education, one event stands out from the rest as my absolute favorite teaching experience. Through it, I learned so much about teaching and dealing with students. Robert was a troubled student who had recently moved from California and had been adopted by his foster mother. His biological father was serving time in the California prison system, while his biological mom was strung out on drugs living on the streets. He became part of an extended group of children the foster mother had recently adopted. For the first time in his life, Robert was now in a stable, caring environment, but he had difficulty transitioning. Although I don't remember his exact IEP at this point, I know that he had impulse control issues and difficulty staying on task. These issues were a result of his mother abusing drugs while pregnant with Robert. However, through the science of medication, Robert was able to control most of the behaviors for the majority of the school day unless he skipped his medication. As I already mentioned, Robert was now part of a large family with several adopted children. The foster mother gave Robert the responsibility to take his medication every morning prior to coming to school. On most days, Robert was responsible and would remember to take his medication. Yet, you could always tell by his animated mannerisms and Joker-like smile when he forgot to take his medication. At first I tried to deal with the problem head-on, as my style of teaching is such that I am very stern in the beginning, allowing students to get away with very little. I have always done this on purpose, believing that it is easier to soften up as the year goes on than get harsher. About a month into the year, I was beating my head against the wall trying to reduce Robert's lack of impulse control and get him to stay on task. I realized I needed to be proactive every morning and assess his demeanor as he walked down the hall. If he were bouncing from wall to wall, child to child, like a pinball, I would ask if he took his medication and what were his goals for the day. At first he was resistive to my questioning and wanted to be left alone, but after several weeks of being relentless in my goal setting and questioning, he finally started to make a change in his behavior. For you see, Robert realized that I cared about him and he eventually wanted nothing more than to meet my expectations. From that point on, Robert began to change in my classroom. He started to listen and participate daily, meeting more of my expectations. I believe the turning point resulted from time spent checking in with Robert daily and building a caring relationship. At the end of the year, he wrote me a thank you note suggesting I was his favorite teacher. In the end, this experience changed me as a teacher. Students are people who have feelings and who want someone to care about them. They want to learn, but they also want to feel as if they have some control over themselves. Giving Robert an opportunity to daily goal set allowed him to feel some control over his chaotic life. It was my task as a teacher to find not only what motivated Robert to learn but also what motivated him to misbehave. In the end, my time with Robert taught me some valuable lessons about the importance of student-teacher relationships.